Morning, Kindle. Here to God willing, go weiter in this week's Dvar Malchus Behar-Bechukosai. Hopefully, we can report it was hey, as always, learning to bind our souls of God. Pleasure to God, haste, and redemption. Further, the Rebbe's Malchus. What do you call an alligator and a vest? He's an investigator. The Rebbe introduced an old style, the idea that if we look at where the Torah was given on Mount Sinai, in the desert of Sinai, that would show us something about what the Torah is meant to accomplish in the world, because the Torah affects the whole world. So you might say, who cares where it's given? We looked a little at the Mishnah and Pirkei Avos to understand the purpose of the Torah, where it seemed to stress that it's to bring peace in the world. We looked at the 10 and the 10, the 10 utterances and the 10 commandments, which the Zohar correlated with the golden spoons dedicated to the altar by the leaders of the Jews. They each weighed 10 holy shekels. And that at Mount Torah it became revealed that even the 10 utterances with the Hashem created the world, it reveals that the world isn't a separate thing unto itself, but even itself is being, I'm going to add, spoken into existence every second by God. And the Hashem is constant, even the world you see is godliness. Hashem is constantly creating it something from nothing all the time. And with this understanding, hopefully we can start to move into why the Torah was given in the desert on the mountain. Let's see what's coming in Osei. Upratius Yoser, in greater detail, Gehemshik Divra and Mishnah. As the Mishnah continues, the Sarah Maimoris Nibra Olam, with 10 utterances Hashem created the world. Ma Talmud Lomar, what's the Torah teaching you here? Alo Maimar Echa Yachal Avrois, couldn't Hashem create everything with one utterance? Hashem could do everything he wants. So what's the difference? 10, 1, who cares? El Ephraim and Rishayim, Shemavdin Asa Oilam, Shenivra Basar Maros. Rather, he gave it to destroy the wicked, to repay the wicked that they destroy the world, or they cause the world to lose. That was created with the 10 utterances. Ulitan starts so the Siddiqim, and to pay up the good reward to the righteous. Shem Kaimas Olam Shniver B'Sar so that they keep the world running through the 10 utterances. So seemingly this whole concept of why 10 and not 1 is so that Hashem can repay the wicked and reward the righteous. We should all just be righteous and get out of Gullus already. And so, but let's ask a very well-known question from the Medrash Shmuel. Since Hashem could create it with one, then why is it that the reward and the punishment that are linked to the world that was created with 10 utterances, kishashav, when it's correlated, to one utterance? Understand, Hashem could do anything he wants. What's the correlation between 10 and the righteous and the wicked? It doesn't add up to me. Hashem could have made 6, 9, 12, whatever he wanted. What's the specific? Why taka 1 and 10? If you're going to tell me he could do it with 1, then he could do it with any number. So what's the specific relevance of these two numbers? And since these two numbers were chosen, there must be some hidden meaning here, something that's supposed to strike out of us. If he wanted to use multiple utterances, it doesn't matter exactly who's. It doesn't depend on the righteous and the wicked. Hashem could do whatever he wants. He could have done 3, 7, 9, whatever it was. So why taka 10? How does 10 itself correlate to the righteous and the wicked? Well, we should all just be righteous. So that's the question. The Rebbe says we could start to answer. When you look at the creation of the world, there's generally two styles. There is this idea of with one utterance. In a certain sense, you still see this, even though Hashem did create with 10. How do you see it? And also you see this aspect of 10. So when we look at the creation all around us, you can see both the concept of 1 and the concept of 10. With one utterance, what's this about? Hashem created all of physicality. All the anything physical that you can see, touch, taste, or feel that has a certain yeshus, certain entity. Hashem created it with one utterance. What does that mean? Something from nothing, from absolute nothingness, Hashem created stuff. That aspect of creation from nothingness to stuff is equal to the tree, the house, the bird, whatever it is. It went from nothing to stuff. It went from nothing to a bird, nothing to a house, nothing to a tree. This aspect of actually its physical existence being in front of you, that you can see it, comes from this aspect of oneness, something from nothing, from absolute nothingness to stuff. It's all godliness. A Chomer Rishon, talking about the primordial stuff, physicality, Sheshava B'Kol Nivraim Olam, which is the same for all creation. Hashem, everything you see was the same nothingness before it was created, and it was the same, so to speak, nothingness, potential material that Hashem used to create everything. Only once it's manifest can you see the differences. So everything's really godliness, and everything's really the same on this level. Their source is the same. Their style of creation is the same. We're looking at the way it's created. Hashem's creating something from nothing every second. Vaseris Maimoros, what about the 10? Nivra Nisgalis, it's created and it's revealed. Hatsurikol Prativrim, the particular form of every single thing you see. Shemchokim Zemizeh, and the tree looks different from the house. Hadiyasakus Vaseris Maimoros. These differences you perceive, that shows on the 10. I see a house, a tree, and a bird. They all look different to me. That shows on the 10. The way they're created, all something from nothing, shows on the 1. Once they're actually created and revealed, and I see different stuff, that shows on the 10. So there's the way it's being created, and once we perceive after it's created. Kolagam Serufi Glufi Yosis and Skalis Veration Lamed Aleph Shaim Pani Ba'achar Kamash Kasa V'Sefer Yitzir Shayidei Zid Nivrakol Riboy Prate Habru and Shoilam. So you might, if we look at the 10 utterances, you're going to find there's a lot of things you see that aren't explicitly mentioned there. So the Rebbe takes some time to mention here, how do we get all those other things? You see, like before, that there should be light. Well, light isn't the only thing in the world. There's zillions and zillions and trillions and billions of creations. I don't know how many there are, but there's a lot. So how do you get all these additional creations that I don't find explicitly stated in the 10 utterances? I'm not going to talk about this in length. You go into the exchange and transpositions that are discussed in the 231 gates, front and back, and Sefer Yetzirah. And also there's Gematrias. Anyway, there's ways to learn it out, how you get to all the creations you can see. If you know all the tools, you can trace back everything you see, its creation, even after it has this particular form, to the 10 utterances. What's the difference here? When you look at the Shem's just creating everything you see, something from nothing, in the same style. When Hashem creates in this type of style, it's not in a way of closeness or enclothement or tailor-made. It's in a far way, a distant way. No being or nothing you see, do you have any sort of tangible perception that's been created something from nothing. It looks like it's there. It looks like it was always there. Just like there, I see that thing, it was always there. I mean, okay, so you might have seen when the tree was planted, you know it didn't used to always be there, but when you look at the seed, you think it was always there. Its appearance speaks, hey, I'm a thing, I was always here. It doesn't naturally speak out, at least not for most people, that it's being created something from nothing every second. That's a very hidden and distant process. So you have to think it through, wrap your head around, and your heart around, try to understand. When you look at the creation, you don't see it. In their particular, when I look at the tree, I really see the tree is something from nothing, but the house maybe not. No, it doesn't matter what's being created. Everything you see, that you see stuff, it doesn't speak something from nothingness. It speaks stuffness, that, hey, I'm here, I was always here, I stand up, I'm, self-made, it screams out. No creation that you look at, this is equal to all the creation. None of them speak out that they created something from nothing every second. As a Mugashi Koli's break, so this type of aspect, this oneness that Hashem's creating something from nothing all the time, it emphasizes Hashem. When a person looks at the creation, they don't see it. This greatness isn't emphasized in creation or emphasizing the greatness of creation, it emphasizes the greatness of Creator. That He can create all these zillion different things you see in the same style, something from nothing every second. It's phenomenal. In creation, something from nothing isn't something a human being can really wrap their head around. It's something you have to take on faith. But most things we can understand. But anything beyond space and time also we can't wrap our head around. Friedrich Rebbe said this. But things we can understand, we have to try to understand. If we're going to understand like Hashem understands, obviously not. But we still have to do our best to understand and make our thinking like Hashem's thinking. And I'd like to encourage people not to try to take Hashem and put it in their brain. Now they have, their brain sort of thinking about Hashem. But learn to think how Hashem thinks. You see, there's a way that God thinks through His Torah and different styles. So learn to give up your brain and learn to try to think like Hashem as best you can. I mean, at least try. At least open the door that we shouldn't take Hashem and jam Him into your head where the best I get is the same you got it up. Try to become a godly head. Do your best. Walking around the same physicality. Anyway, I'd like you to learn to think like Hashem to the best of your ability. Not to take Hashem and put Him in your preconceived noodle. And constructs and things. Anyway, that being said, when you consider this oneness aspect of creation, it speaks about Hashem's greatness, not the greatness of creation. And also that in one speech he does it. Hashem said one thing and you got everything you see around you. Boom! Hashem says, whatever. And with one utterance, made everything you see. Everything you see, what? One speech. I mean, how's that? Phenomenal. Because it's only Hashem that can create something from nothing every second. Koach Atmas, his innermost power. Alone Mitzias and Niver, you don't really see anything. When you look at it from this side, you don't really see anything discussing the aspect of greatness of the creation itself, or its particular details, or anything. You just see Hashem. Shegarul Ayin B'Efes. That the creation itself seems to take up no place. It's just this thing being created, something from nothing all the time. There's nothing to talk about here. It's just this thing being... All you see is Hashem speaking something into existence all the time. The thing that he happens to be speaking, who cares? He's making a trillion of them. Then who cares what they are? Because they're all really just 100% dependent on Hashem. He's speaking in existence all the time. See, it's in his Gal's Kol Yeholis Break. And the fact that it exists, it just shows you that Hashem's the greatest, that he can create something from nothing all the time. The only role it really fills when you look at creation this way is everything you see around you speaks, hey, Hashem's creating something, nothing all the time, and he's the greatest. Appreciation, but when you look from the 10 side, the more natural default way of singing for a human being, and you see multiplicity in the world. All the differences in the different creations. I'm not sure the Nakudos in Zagu, everything was a particular composition and content. Acknowledging that the tree is not the house and the house isn't the bird, etc. Now you're seeing world. What strikes out is world. I see the differences of the world, that Hashem cares that there should be these different things. Very nice, he's creating them all the same, in the same fashion all the time, and from the same utterance, and from the same primordial material. At the same time, it comes out as different stuff. He must have wanted that. He made what appears to be different stuff, Although it is all God, he created it in a way where your natural default perception would see different stuff. He must have wanted that. He must have wanted you to perceive the different greatnesses in every little thing. So what's this all about? That it gives a certain specialness and importance and detail and content for every particular aspect of creation. And then you learn what's special about the bird, and what's special about the tree, and what's special about the house. The bird has certain offerings. You can make a bracha on it. It's used in many different offerings. The tree, you can get fruit from it. The tree represents a tzaddik. A house provides shelter. What does a house mean in Chassidishkeit? A lot of things to discuss. A lot of brilliant things you can learn, ways to approach God. So we have to have the multiplicity and the oneness. Shem Keneged Aseret spheres. And these divisions that you see, it corresponds to the 10 spheres. And if you look at the 10 spheres, it contains sort of like, in a general way, every good thing that you can find in any aspect of creation. Whatever you like about the tree, whatever's really good about it, you can kind of find that in the 10 spheres. Whatever you like about the house, this person, that person, they're a kind person, they're a severe person. Anything that's good in the world is some type of representation of the 10 spheres. Alright, we'll hold there, God willing. Everyone should have a great day. Connect to God. Realize that he's creating everything around you, something from nothing all the time. He's got your back. He loves you. He's all about peace. And acknowledge the particular details of creation and make good things happen. Shirk now.